commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Soccer in South Florida is all about the passion, the energy, and the pink smoke. Inter Miami Soccer has a new home. Introducing Pink Smoke, your weekly deep dive into all things Inter Miami. Every Wednesday at 6, we're talking messy magic, big goals, wild moments, and the latest from the pitch. So lace up, get loud, and join us for Pink Smoke.
When you see that pink smoke.
Wednesdays at 6, only on ESPN 106.3.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Banyan Printing, your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 45 years. Banyan Printing's new metallic ink press adds that extra shine so that your product comes out in glossy gold, sparkling silver, or any other color you want to shine. Banyan Printing is the official printer of Kaiser Athletics and would love to be your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams: Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3 from the TGL, the SoFi Center over in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo with you. Christian Cat helping us out back at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Russo and Rizzo with you from 4 to 6 p.m. live streaming on ESPN West Palm on YouTube, Facebook, and X/Twitter. If you can check us out there, you can listen to us on your radio dial over at 106.3. What is a change of scenery? What is the criteria for a change of scenery? Change of scenery is a term that is loosely thrown around throughout professional sports, even some in collegiate athletics, for players, coaches, people involved in organizations, and whether they deserve, need, or there is a necessity for a change of scenery, a change of home base. Baker Mayfield pops to mind as somebody who probably needed a change of scenery. Sam Darnold, somebody who pops to mind as somebody who needed a change of scenery. Kawhi Leonard, back when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, some didn't agree with it at the time, but I think a lot of people would agree that that was a worthy change of scenery for him to shift over to Toronto in exchange for DeMar DeRozan. I think that for team sakes and for players' sakes, the term changing scenery is thrown around a whole lot. What is change of scenery, Mike?
It's when someone needs to get out of a place that's just ran its course. Like, guys that the number one player on this is the guy right now who just requested for a trade in Myles Garrett. because Garrett wants to compete for Super Bowls, and he's not going to be able to do that in Cleveland. And I'm going to mention another one, too, that needed a change of scenery really bad, that worked out, was Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley needed a change of scenery out of New York. Granted, he wanted to stay in New York, but he went to Philadelphia. He ran for 2,000 yards. In my opinion, was the MVP of the year. I know it's kind of a quarterback award, and helped them win a Super Bowl. So that's probably what I would describe as a change of sceneries. I know we have a couple of guys here on our list, but you could reach as well, but then you get into the kind of the I don't want to say the cliche of bad teams staying bad, right? If you're going to go down that rabbit hole, you could go with Caleb Williams. Now, you're going to lose your mind because I know how you feel about Caleb Williams.
I disagree with that
but Caleb Williams, the Bears really struggle. The Bears really struggle when it comes to developing quarterbacks out of the draft that they get. Justin Fields was really bad. Mitch Trubisky was really bad at their times.
But those guys weren't good anywhere else either.
Right. But the argument I would make with Williams is that are things already black there? Are things already sour? Are the roots black already in Chicago?
How can you say that after 1 year?
Because they brought in a bad head coach. They brought back a bad head coach. That's number one.
And they got rid of it.
They should have never brought back Eberflus and set Caleb Williams back, I think, a full year. And then the whole offensive coordinator situation. But I want to be careful, too, because you mentioned, we talked about this in the pre-show meeting, then you get into the whole parity thing. Then only the good teams are going to be good, right? The teams who have bad quarterback play right now.
Yeah, that's why I can't even listen to it. Why does Caleb Williams deserve
at the same time, I had to listen to Bear fans tell me that they are the most cursed team at that position, and they could have drafted Patrick Mahomes and Joe Montana, and they wouldn't be good. So that's the argument there is you got to get them out of Chicago because no quarterbacks ever have success there. I hate it. I don't like it. But I could see an argument if you're a friend of Caleb Williams and you go up to Caleb and be like, man, brother, we already got to get you out of Chicago. And I'm not saying those conversations are happening, but
how do you even endorse a conversation like that when he's a rookie on the first year of a rookie contract after being the number one overall pick of the draft?
Because of how bad I think things went in that year one. You hope that Ben Johnson, we've seen quarterback gurus come into Chicago and fail with Matt Nagy. Okay, he was supposed to come in and find their next quarterback and develop Mitch Trubisky, and it didn't happen. So that's when I say Caleb Williams and the Bears. That's why. But
the reason I ask what is a change of scenery is because I do not think that entails a change of scenery. I don't think that the Caleb Williams situation can be chalked up to we got to get this guy out of town. He had and you're not somebody who's high on Caleb Williams. Does Caleb Williams stink or do the Bears stink? Which is it? So if Caleb Williams is so good, but the Bears absolutely stink, then we got to get him out of town. But if Williams is also not that good and the Bears are not that good, then maybe they're a perfect marriage.
May I defend myself with the Williams stuff? I thought Caleb would play better immediately out of the gate. Now, I should have read the tea leaves that the Bears can't get anything right with a rookie quarterback, bringing back Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron. Did I bring up Shane Waldron in the offensive coordinator situation? That was bad, too. That was really bad, too. They got rid of them
all by Thanksgiving, but I understand.
Correct. That was really bad, too. It's not that I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. I don't think Caleb played well either. I don't think he helped his own situation. But as I hear stories about what was happening with him and Shane Waldron, and Waldron basically refusing to coach him, now it kind of makes sense. It's going to be a big year for Caleb coming up next year, and I think he would even tell you that.
Then that's it. That's period. That's your sentence. It's not, we need to get him out of Chicago because Chicago can't figure it out. How is Chicago supposed to get good at football if every halfway decent player that might be good or might not be good has a up and down year, to say the least? They were 5-2 or 4-2 or whatever it was. They were leading Washington with a chance to go 5-2 in their building, the team that went on to win to get to the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
So if they were that close to actually getting somewhere, and yeah, it all blew up and it was a complete disaster. But how does that tell me anything that Caleb Williams needs to get out of town? Yeah, he got sacked 66 times, fine. And I understand that they're probably going to go and address something on the offensive line. And the coaching, terrible. Well, they got rid of the coach. And they got rid of the coach before the end of the year at that, too. And the offensive coordinator staff. They got the A-plus hire of the offseason. I can't see it like that. I don't think he deserving of a change of scenery is a different question than needing a different
It's the track record. It's the track record. It's the history. It's the tortured fan base of not being able to develop a quarterback. That's nonetheless what you're looking at, and all this bad stuff we just went through last year. But we're not considering
how
that.
are they ever
Players,
supposed to get out from under it if that's the situation?
right? And that's why I've come off it.
And terrible.
And that's why in the pre-show meeting we came off of it. So that's not an example. That's a perfect example of how that's not a change of scenery. Do I think the Bears are going to develop a quarterback? Probably not, but we're going to have to give him a chance. But there are a couple of true pros on this list, Colin. That
Are you on the team yet that Myles Garrett needs to change the scenery?
I said let's rewind. What was it now? 2 weeks ago when Garrett originally did this. I don't blame him. All right, I think the franchise, they're in denial. They need to reset. All right, the Watson contract failed, and now you got Myles Garrett, who's in the prime of his career, probably going to be playing on a 4-win football team next year. Get your 2 first-round picks for him. Let him go and let him compete for Super Bowls. Myles Garrett is important to the franchise because he went undefeated in his he went defeated. I'm sorry, partner. He went 0-16 his first year and really helped turn around the Browns and have good teams with Nick Chubb, with Baker Mayfield, and Garrett and Denzel Ward. Colin, those days are over. Baker Mayfield's no longer in town. Denzel Ward can't stay healthy. Nick Chubb, Micah Parsons had one of the dirtiest hits in NFL history. He can't play anymore. So they need to reset. And I totally agree Garrett needs to change the scenery. I would love to see him competing in the playoffs. It breaks my heart as a Brown fan. I hoped he'd be a Cleveland Brown for his whole career, and that was probably the plan. But you need to rebuild. Get rid of Garrett, get your 2 first-round picks, and give him his change of scenery.
I agree with that. And he falls under the umbrella. I circle around to the question, what is a change of scenery, what it constitutes, what entails a change of scenery. Myles Garrett is an edge rusher that, of course, is an otherworldly talent, but a position in the NFL that doesn't make a bad team good. He does not, a edge rusher, similarly to the running back, does not make a bad team good. They make a good team great. That is the importance of that position. Those are the guys that, in my opinion, fall underneath an umbrella at this point of guys who need a change of scenery.
Can I push back a little bit on that edge rusher thing, though? It's a position in need, and they're always high up on the draft order.
Absolutely.
Would you agree? If you look at any drafts in years past,
how many bad teams are only good because of their edge rusher? And Max Crosby, the Raiders stink, and the Browns. Myles Garrett didn't make any changes there. T.J. Watt is great, but on a well-run organization. There's not the Jacksonville Jaguars had the highest duo of sacks a year ago, and they stink. So
it comes down to your point. It comes down to the quarterback.
It makes a good team great. It doesn't make a bad team good. You have to hit the other pieces of the team, the offensive line, the quarterback, the coaching, that really turn a team around. That's, to me, a little trickier to determine whether somebody needs a change of scenery or not, because if you're circling around to that position, because of course, the examples we gave earlier in the program were Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, 2 guys that failed is probably not the right word, but it just needed a change of pace, needed different coaching, needed different scenery, needed different surrounding, and they benefited off of it.
And they had a lot of landing points until they found the scene that they needed to get into. Like Baker, remember, the both of them were on the Panthers. So it was the Panther quarterback room 3 years ago, Colin. So they were in Carolina. Then Baker bounced over to the Rams, and I swear Darnold. My memory is I swear he went somewhere after the Panthers as well.
He was the Niner
backup. Okay, so you take a weird path sometimes to find where you're supposed to be, but
I think those are few and far between. I think those are few and far between. Geno Smith, another example of somebody who needed to change the scenery. Few and far between. That doesn't always work. Justin Fields thought he was going to get a big change of scenery. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
So,
and can I give you another one? Derek Carr. I understand that he didn't want to leave Vegas, but he got a change of scenery, and I think injuries nonetheless were probably the problem with Carr. But I totally understand.
Tyreek Hill wanted to change of scenery. How's that working?
Hey, hang on. Can we add Tyreek Hill to this list?
No.
Doesn't he need a change of scenery, Colin?
No, he does not. No.
You want to know what he needs? He needs to go back to Kansas City.
Hang
on. I got a perfect idea.
You were in the resort. You were in paradise, and you wanted out.
Hang on. I have the perfect scenario. You send him right back to Kansas City because Kansas City probably needs a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's like Devontae Adams, another guy who needs a change of scenery about every 11 minutes. And at a certain point, dude, you are part of the problem. You are part of why this team is not succeeding. You can't just jump around to any sort of team that you want the second you are a little unhappy. That's why I am very careful with how I award a necessity of a change of scenery. I think that is a very tricky definition, very tricky, I guess, consensus to bring to a player or a coach. One that I think of that actually I think for both sides is deserving, and we talked about it a little after they lost their playoff game, was what the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin have going on. Mike Tomlin is somebody who is successful, who is integral to what the Steelers do, who is probably a top 30% NFL coach in the league, probably top 20% if we're being honest, and he is somebody who desperately needs a change of pace.
Yeah, and I'm sick of hearing Squealer fan telling me how much they hate Tomlin. It
depends which guy you talk to. Some Steelers fans love Tomlin, and they're either sick of it.
If I talk to the Steeler fans that I talk to, it's mediocre Mike, and then they're living in what do they call it? Groundhog Day. Okay, their Groundhog Day is win 10 games, lose in the playoffs, have a bad draft pick, miss on the draft pick, and then just repeat and rinse and recycle.
Let him go try to reach a new height somewhere else. That is not going to change in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. That is worthy of the needs a change of scenery tag.
You want to know what I think it is? Steeler fans found the hard truth of life after Ben Roethlisberger and how hard it is at not having a franchise quarterback. And that's why I think Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Look at the quarterbacks he's been able to win 10 games with. Look at what he's dealing with at the most important position in football. Okay, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Wilson had his moments, and he wasn't awful with Sean Payton in Denver too. They won 8 games last year.
But Colin, this isn't Russell. I understand the point, but this isn't Russell Wilson who played for the Seahawks and arguably should have won 2 Super Bowls if they hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's not that same Russell Wilson, but it's also the same Russell Wilson that beat the Washington 28-27 when he was throwing the ball all over the field.
But you see my point. Like Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett. I even forget who it was after Roethlisberger for a little bit. I think there was a year where they didn't have Pickett, and I'm forgetting who it was. Mason Rudolph, thank you. Yeah, Oklahoma State, their draft pick from 10 years ago. If they had a quarterback,
knows him well.
Colin, if they had a quarterback, I think that they would be better off. And obviously, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to tell you that. But I think Steeler fans have been very spoiled for so long with great quarterback play, dating back to Roethlisberger for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I can't listen to that because the Steelers could use a Hall of Famer? Yeah, a lot of teams could use a Hall of Famer. But what they got at that position was not the worst part, not the weak link of that team. That team had bigger issues in terms of the complementary staff and the offensive coordination and all of that comparatively.
To that point, I think I thought Artie Smith was the same, near the same hire as Canada. I don't know what was different.
I wouldn't include that. I would include Tomlin in a change of scenery because I think he'd help a bad team become good. That is the type of piece that a bad team needs. He is not the good to become great. He is the bad to become good. That is somebody who could utilize a change of scenery. That is somebody who I think is worthy of that criteria.
Would he want to? He's
Mr.
Pittsburgh.
So, and he knows he wants to, and we're not going to see it. But that's somebody who, in my opinion, I think that's another change of scenery. Is Kyler Murray a change of scenery?
Probably. Been
there for 5 or 6 years.
I'm not. I think Kyler is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. I think on his best day he could be top 8. But I'm not. He's too streaky for me.
He's erratic.
He's very streaky. You'll see Kyler be a top echelon quarterback one week, and then you'll see him completely play his team out of there. But Colin, to your point, the Cardinals. What favors have the Cardinals done him since they lost that playoff game to the Rams? What favors has Arizona done? I don't think Gannon's that bad of a coach, but at the same time, that's a roster that doesn't have a lot of talent right now.
Yep. I mean, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. just sitting there, and they're still waiting to figure out how to use him. But I understand both sides. Right. Maybe that would just be mutually beneficial on either side. Is maybe the right team, the right quarterback, the right quarterback coach can get something out of him comparatively. So I think there might be something there on a mutual beneficial split. That's just my takeaway.
Let's not forget the rumors of him playing Call of Duty, video game issues, the film stuff. There was that. Okay, there was that. I don't.
You know how good you have to be to get drafted top 10 in sports? He does not have a video game problem.
My thing is, just because, and you're talking to a major gamer here, folks, I think when you play a lot of video games, you get this stigmatism of, I think that's what happened there. I think the media overblew it, and that was the situation. But, the Cardinals kind of got caught with their pants down with that story for a little bit. So maybe there could be a change of scenery. But where do you go? Like, I know we're nonetheless looking at the player side of it, but if you're Arizona, if you get rid of Kyler Murray, you're signing up for going through the process of trying to find another quarterback. It's a nightmare.
But it's 6 years. They gave Kyler 6 years. Pittsburgh would use him. That wouldn't be a bad one.
Can I push back a little bit? I don't think he could play in that division. That's a tough division. That's a division where I think you got to have like a 6'3". It's a hard-nosed division. It's cold, cow, the weather. I don't know if he could play in that division.
Maybe there's something there. But, I mean, sink or swim. I mean, talk about something utilizing.
Yeah.
He's played road games before. He had Aaron Donald sitting there in his division alongside that dreadful 49er defensive line, too. So he's dealt with defenses. There's no doubt about that. I just think if there's a change of scenery category, if there's a quarterback at play that might need a change of scenery, I think Kyler Murray might be that one guy. Because what did we think about last year? The good change of scenery pieces are the Darnolds, the Bakers, the Saquons. Derrick Henry's another one.
Yep.
Somebody who needed a change of scenery. So you're talking about complementary position players or guys that run the team. And the run-the-team guys, the quarterbacks, are few and far between. But the other guys who are complementary pieces, that's where you could find something for. That's where you find, the edge rushers or the running backs, the Max Crosbys of the world, Jonathan Taylor, somebody who might be able to help a really good team get better tomorrow. So that's just my takeaway is you got to compartmentalize what position, what player, his importance to that team. Now, I'd make an argument that Kyler Murray's performance it was a big correlation to how the Cardinals kind of blew up towards the second half of the season when they were 6-3. So I think that he is part of the problem, but maybe he would benefit off of just changing it up, seeing if the right person can get something out of him that maybe the Arizona Cardinals weren't.
Yeah, and with the proof in the pudding of Mayfield and Darnold, that probably would be the most realistic one. Yeah, Geno is. Now, I'm a little off. I'm a little over the Geno Smith thing right now in Seattle. I think they need to start moving towards a solution.
But my point is,
you're right. You're totally right.
And
who had on their bingo card Geno Smith coming back 2 years ago, throwing for 4,000 yards and being a Pro Bowler? I totally get it. Quarterback's tricky, Kyle, as we know. Quarterback, it's very tricky.
I can listen to somebody like Kyler who's been there for 6 years, and they've kind of been punching the same bag, expecting something different. The Caleb Williams train after the amount that they're.
What, you don't want to listen to miserable Bear fan, Colin?
I cannot let your opinion and then you chalk it up to the miserable Bear fan. I can't listen to that. I can't listen to that.
I really question if the Bears could ever get that quarterback position right. That's what I was. You're not, Colin. You're not getting rid of him. The organization's not getting rid of him. What I'm saying is, are we going to look back and go, "Wow, man, the Bears screwed Caleb Williams"? Like, are we going to look back at something like that in a couple of years? That's all I'm saying.
Well, granted, at the end of his rookie contract, he's more than welcome to go sign elsewhere. But that is 4 years down the line.
But then they got the best years out of him, and now nobody wants him.
So get comfortable. That is not the quarterback, but that's other positions. We got to roll on here. A change of scenery. Who pops to mind for you as a player, a coach, somebody who needs to just change up the scenery a little bit, get around a different surrounding, and hopefully get something different out of their career? Who is that to you? To me, I would go with the complementary position players. The Max Crosbys of the world can utilize one. Jonathan Taylor is somebody that pops to mind, trying something different with him and seeing if they could get something out of him. That would be the ones that pop to mind for me. We roll on here, 888-760-3776, live from the SoFi Center at the TGL in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Who needs that change of scenery? Let us know, 888-760-3776. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Attention, South Florida! The PGA Tour champions and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are teaming up for a one-of-a-kind event, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. From March 31st to April 6th, the action takes over the old course at Broken Sound in Boca Raton, featuring Hall of Fame legends like Warren Sapp, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, Rondé Barber, Chris Carter, and more. Tickets are on sale now at JamesHardyInvitational.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the home of legends.
Listen up, team. Recycling is just like football. You can't win if you're out of formation. Yellow bin? That's your quarterback. Give it all the paper. Blue bin, wide receiver. Feed it all the containers. But no interceptions. Plastic bags and greasy pizza boxes have no place on this field. Now, follow the playbook. Get out there and recycle right. Sponsored by the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. Let's keep winning for the planet!
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
DQ Grill and Chill, always your first love for delicious treats. Enjoy the blizzard of the month, Red Velvet Cake Blizzard. Indulge in real red velvet cake pieces and cream cheese icing, blended with DQ Signature Soft Serve. Plus, the $7 meal deal remains in full effect. Your choice of a DQ cheeseburger or a 3-piece chicken strip basket served with fries, a drink, and a sundae for just $7. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Live from the Anajar and Levine accident. Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Be in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, accidents of any kind. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Listen, they're here to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Why settle for just any attorney? Demand Anajar and Levine today. Stop wasting time. All it takes, one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for your free consultation today because that's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, coming to you always from the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida for the TGL. Tonight you're going to see Tiger in the mix tonight on ESPN, so stay tuned for that. They had the triple header yesterday in light of President's Day, the most company holidays, and they had 3 in a row, 1, 4, and 7, and had good matches at that over at the TGL. But we were talking about change of sceneries. What is the criteria for somebody deserving of a change of scenery? Is there a service time attached that maybe this is, all right, you gave them your 3-4 years, you've allotted this amount of time in your career to this franchise, to this city. Now you are welcomed to go get a change of scenery. Has that perspective been skewed? What is the argument there? NFL players, we've brought up complimentary pieces like Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, complimentary edge rushers that make good teams great, that are probably, it is a useful endeavor to exercise their change of scenery and see if they're going to be better off elsewhere. And the ones I can't listen to are most of the quarterbacks. And if there's a quarterback on an iffy team, the a la Trevor Lawrence's of the world, I can't listen to that.
That was a pre-show meeting. We brought that up. You didn't
I
like
can't
that.
I can't listen to that. I can't listen to that.
Okay.
Complementary pieces are the ones that can utilize a change of scenery. Complementary pieces, ones that don't necessarily turn the bad into good, but it can make the good into great when they're on a bad team that doesn't make it good already. I think that is where you're looking. I think Mike Tomlin falls under that as well. Any other pop to mind for you?
Another one that we brought up in our pre-show meeting that we kind of disregarded that people might bring up would be Dak Prescott. The reason I disregard it is because
I can't see that. He just signed a contract.
The contract and the money he's making, and 2 years ago, he arguably should have won the MVP. So I think that's probably the only outside of Trevor.
There's nothing of that.
Yeah, outside of the whole Trevor Lawrence one, there's no other quarterbacks there. But this is the list I've compiled: Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, all edge rushers. Now, Micah Parsons, for different reasons. We heard our very own Chris Canty of Unsportsmanlike say that Parsons, nonetheless, needs a new scenery. The Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons, this and that. Number one, are the Cowboys going to pay Parsons? They have to, right? That's a guy you have to pay.
They're going to wait to the last second, but okay. I assume they will.
And then obviously the Max Crosby. The Raiders are a bad team. And what did you just get done explaining to us last segment? They have a great edge rusher in Max Crosby, but they're not winning games. He probably would need to go to a Detroit. Remember
he doesn't move the needle. He doesn't move the needle from the bad to good.
And the rumors with Crosby, he's from Michigan, I believe, and there was a rumor that he was going to be going and possibly being traded to the Lions, but it didn't come to fruition. Those are the three at the edge rusher. We mentioned Kyler Murray. I got to give intern Colton a shout out because he brought this one up. Garrett Wilson in New York.
I think there's a number of guys in the Jets. Breece Hall's another one. There's a number.
Sauce Gardner, maybe.
Yeah.
But then we get into the conversation of how are they ever, like with the Bears. I know it's different, but how are they ever going to be good if you get rid of all these good players?
They've given it a hell of a shot.
Okay.
They've given it a hell of a shot. I'm not saying you need to ship out everybody. But in terms of somebody whose play is at detriment because of the team they're playing with,
right.
Garrett Wilson's obviously a possibility. I don't think Sauce Gardner's included that. He has 2 first-team All-Pros. I can't listen to that. But I see the idea with Breece Hall, especially with the emergence of their rookie running back. So
okay.
I think there's certain positions that are worthy of change of sceneries. Wide receiver is somebody that gets popped around in terms of change of scenery all the time. Devontae Adams was one of them. Stephon Diggs has needed to change of scenery about 11 times. Tyreek Hill needs to change of scenery every 5 seconds. It goes down the list.
Yeah, and another one.
Samuel needs one.
Another one we brought up that
actually is a good one. I think Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, and he requested for a trade. And if you remember, let's rewind, Colin. Deebo held out because he wanted a contract because they were using him in the run game and in the pass game. I kind of want to say, I'll say it, man. I think Deebo kind of started the route that the wide receivers went of wanting money early. Deebo was under contract, but they were using him in the run game and utilizing him other ways to where he's like, listen, guys, you got to show me some money if you're going to use me like this. And then that's when all of these wide receivers, I think, started to gain a little power after that situation.
That was 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think this power is necessarily newly founded. But
one that you disregarded that you didn't want to hear and is a waste of time is Jamar Chase. And explain to me why.
So you think he needs to change the scenery?
I don't think.
How about you? Let's flip this. You explain to me why he needs to change the scenery.
They don't want to pay him. That's the big thing. I think the biggest.
There's somebody they do want to pay. It's him.
The report out today is that they're going to pay all 3 players. So you got to see it to believe it first.
If they're going to pay anybody, put money somewhere, put the mortgage down. They are paying Jamar Chase. That I can guarantee.
And they've been to a Super Bowl. He won the Triple Crown and everything. With Jamar Chase right now, I think it's why aren't they paying me? And they're not paying you, young man, because you were under contract for 2 more years last year. Aren't you trying to win a Super Bowl?
Now they have to pay him. Now it's time to pay him.
Correct. So if they don't pay, Colin, if they do play games this year, maybe there is an avenue to where there is a change of scenery. Because why wouldn't you pay a guy who just won the Triple Crown?
Well, they're going to pay him. So that's why I can't. It's not about his play on the field. It's not about the success of the team. They're flirting with a playoff spot every year. They've been in the postseason every year except for 2 so far in his short-lived career. And he just won the Triple Crown. So individually he's getting what he needs. He's playing with a quarterback that he loves and played in college. He's going to get record-breaking money when he eventually does sign that contract. Not somebody who, for me, is deserving of a change of scenery mark.
Okay. I think our list is great. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby.
I think Jonathan Taylor should be included in that.
Kyler Murray, Garrett Wilson, Mike Tomlin, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill. Now, we disregarded Hill.
Take Tyreek
He made his bed. He made his bed type
Yeah,
thing.
take him off
Colin, he needs to get out of Miami, though. I think the organization, I took him off, but I think the organization.
He's not deserving of it. You're 30 years old.
Let him
you
rot.
forced yourself out of the best situation in football. I can't listen to that. I
Say,
understand the Chiefs didn't really want to pay him the amount of money that maybe he flirted with deserving, but to me, you figure out your scenery. You can make a decision: your scenery or your contract.
Can I say it one more time?
Go ahead.
Just trade him back to Kansas City, man. Just give him back to kid. They need a receiver.
The old Barstool sells their company back to Penn and then buys it back for $0.
They need a receiver, baby. They need a receiver. Tyreek's coming home. But no, Garrett Wilson, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, Kyler Murray, Garrett Wilson, Mike Tomlin, and Jonathan Taylor. Those are probably the ones.
Did you think that LeBron James needed a change of scenery first time in Cleveland?
No. Probably.
He did not need it. He didn't.
Probably, but no, he didn't.
That's a change of scenery moment.
He didn't. Yeah, no, totally. That's probably, Colin, to be honest, that's probably the biggest one I could.
That's 7-8 years of service time.
And hindsight 2020, he came back, won my city a championship. I love LeBron to death. But at the time, it was the end of the world. Could he have gone about it a better way? Instead of going on national television and telling everybody he's taking his talents, he'll even tell you that. I think that's probably the biggest one in the NBA the last 30 years, no? Is that not the biggest one in the last 30 years? Or the biggest change of scenery?
I mean, free agent decision, he's definitely the decision is definitely number one.
But as much as I want to sit here and tell you he didn't need a change of scenery, Colin, he was playing with Sasha Pavlovich, Eric Snow, Drew Gooden. I love Big Zadrunas Ilgauskas, but he's a 3 on a championship-winning team, even in his prime.
That, to me, that might be deserving of a change of scenery. Now, going to it and forming a big 3, of course, faced a lot of scrutiny, and a lot of people thought he was taking the easy way out and not trying to get past Boston. But I understand 7-8 years of service time. There's only so many things you could do, and they had a couple Cavs teams that won 65, 66 games. So.
Very good. Just couldn't get past Boston, and don't get me started on Dwight Howard Orlando Magic here, which we got robbed of Kobe and LeBron. You want to know who I think another one in the NBA was? 2 of them, actually. And they were on the same team, and they beat LeBron numerous times. The Celtics teams, with Kevin Garnett needing a change of scenery from the Timberwolves and Ray Allen needing to get out of Seattle. As much as I loved watching Ray Allen play in Seattle in those yellow jerseys, he definitely needed to go somewhere where he was going to be competing for championships. I think that's another one.
I think Anthony Towns is a decent example. Now, he didn't necessarily want to be traded, and that was sort of a surprise. But I think that change of scenery, the change of style, the change of intensity has helped him, and it's helped his career. I think it hurt the T-Wolves quite considerably, but going to the Knicks, I think, has helped Karl Anthony Towns quite a bit.
And if we remember, too, they were saying Cat was soft. He didn't know how to practice.
And now he's proven them wrong.
Yeah,
if he's playing for a Tibbs team and playing well, and you're shutting a lot of people up.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody wants to play for a Tom Thibodeau team. So that's another example. Kawhi Leonard, I think, is the ultimate one. Kawhi Leonard probably needed a change of pace, and DeMar DeRozan, maybe some people disagreed with the fact that he needed one, but, I mean, they weren't getting anywhere with DeMar DeRozan, and it was the ultimate, not win-win, but for what the Raptors were able to get out of it, they got a championship.
They did.
For that, I think that was a change of scenery moment, and Kawhi didn't stay there for very long, but that was one that pops to mind that, hey, like that change of scenery was quite beneficial in the grand scheme.
Yeah, and it helps when you win.
You know what's another one?
Let's hear
Luka Doncic.
But hang on. Did he need it? They went to a championship last year.
I know, but did he? We'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree with the Mavericks' decision to do it, but maybe the Lakers are thinking that this guy could utilize a change of scenery. And whether that's the disrespect attached to it, or that is the expectation of being a star in a big market, or if he really does have a drinking problem, or whatever it is that's being alleged in the news cycle in terms of what Luka Doncic provides. If there's a change of scenery moment and he's better off because of it, fitness-wise, whatever it may be.
Kyle, do you want to know who the president of this change of scenery fan club is? It's Jimmy Butler. Is he not the president of change? If I had to pick one player who's had more change of sceneries, I think, than any player in
who started it was LeBron. Yeah, LeBron started that.
He should have never left, Colin.
Yeah, well, he did that.
He should have never left,
he did it again
Colin.
When he went to Los Angeles.
But can I play devil's advocate here? It's because Garnett and Allen wanted to change the scenery because he couldn't. That was the team he couldn't beat. That was the first. Colin, geez, we could go as far back as the super teams with the Celtics with Bill Russell and Cousy. But you get what I'm saying. In modern NBA history, that was the first, I think, really big three, hey, these stars are coming together dynasty to turn at the turn of the century. Now, Kobe and Shaq, okay, that was two. The Spurs, I think, were a cohesive unit with Popovich, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think he turned that team into what it is. That's my take on that. I think Boston was the reason LeBron did that because of their big three.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing remains up to be seen, and whether you think he's deserving of a change.
Is it hurting the league now? I think so.
I think the league is better off that Luka Doncic and Karl-Anthony Towns are in New York and Los Angeles, respectively. Not saying Karl-Anthony Towns, is Hakeem Olajuwon, but I'm saying that helps being in a bigger market, changing up the scenery a little bit, and seeing if you could accomplish something elsewhere where you didn't necessarily think you could do that at your previous spot.
Is there a loyalty problem in that league? Do you buy into the whole loyalty thing?
Well, that's part of the reason of changing scenery. Where does loyalty die?
Right.
Because you get the LeBrons of the world who left town on his own accord, and you get the Lukas of the world who didn't. And whether you think that's deserving of a change of scenery, Karl-Anthony Towns, another one who didn't. Kawhi Leonard kind of controlled his own destiny, but Durant controlled his own destiny. Got out before they got him out. It's not a loyal business to begin with.
Yep.
I think loyalty is a little overblown in the grand scheme of the NBA specifically. I think that if you're not going to do it, they will first. And it's good. The business will not show the loyalty that the fans expect of the player. So off of that'd be my perspective on it. I understand both sides in terms of owning it for your city and not earning it. But if you accomplish the impossible, win a championship, or able to do something like that, that to me should be more than enough in terms of service time, in terms of giving what you needed to that city. That to me would be that definition. I'm curious about this because I heard about it earlier today. We'll get to it after the break. Stephen A. Smith was talking today because we're talking about big stars on the move in the NFL, in the NBA, whether a change of scenery is necessary, whether a change of scenery, because changing scenery in the NBA is a lot different than in the NFL. The NFL is all about winning the championship because every team is big, every team's got their own fan base. But on the NBA side of things, a lot of it goes into the market as well. I know you're the Dallas Cowboys of the world, but they're always going to be big regardless of what the players are. The big markets in the NBA need stars, and they need stars that are reputable, marketable, and embody the city in some capacity. That's a little different comparatively to the NFL. And what Stephen A. Smith was talking about earlier was the prospective face of the NBA. Who is going to take the torch from the LeBrons, the Durants, and the Currys of the world, and who is going to be that next big marquee star in a big market? Is it going to be Luka? Can it be Luka? He said something interesting about whether the prospect of an international player or an American player could do it. We'll get into that next. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
West Palm, it's C-Cat here. You want to know my secret to losing weight fast? I lost 17 pounds in 28 days with Metrum MD in Palm Beach Gardens. It's not a one-size-fits-all plan. It's medical weight loss tailored just for you by a team of experts. They're busy because they're the best, and the results are real. I'm living proof. With their guidance, I'm losing weight fast, staying motivated, and feeling unstoppable. Ready to transform your life? Visit Metrum MD in Palm Beach Gardens or go to MetrumMD.com. That's M-E-T, the word trim, MD.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
ESPN 1063 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 1063. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sportsbook. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you can drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Live from the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat back at the City Play Studios helping us out as always. Christian, I can almost sense it. You're looking mighty slim in your shirt that you're wearing, aren't you?
Oh, you're far too kind. Far too kind. It's actually a new shirt. Bought it on Amazon, got it in the mail the other day, and yeah, it's hanging off of me because I lost 17 pounds in 28 days thanks to Metrim MD. Metrim MD in Palm Beach Gardens. MET, the word trimmd.com. If you want results and you want them fast, that's what kept me motivated. I got results immediately, so I didn't want to stop. In less than a month, losing 17 pounds. That was my experience. But each and every plan is tailor-made to the individual that walks through the offices of Metrim MD. I have a friend, I've known her for about 9-10 years now, back to the college days. She lives down here. She heard about Metrim MD from listening to ESPN 1063. She wanted to lose some weight. She wanted to lose weight fast. So what did she do? She went to Metrim MD, MET, the word trim, MD.com, got her no obligation, free consultation, and she has already lost double-digit pounds in a little over 2 weeks with Metrim MD. It's a protein-packed diet. They provide the supplements, they provide the food, and you lose your fat. You keep your muscle. I didn't lose a yard off my drive after losing my weight. Metrim MD in Palm Beach Gardens. Go check them out for yourself.
Nice job. Christian Cat, Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, as always, thinking about changing of sceneries. When is it worth it? When is it not worth it? When is it allowed to say that this player, this team, this coach is needed? A change of scenery.
Do we want to make rules for this? Do you want me to get the rule book out? Yeah, they did.
Because it's there.
Lay the criteria on me.
It's situational, but I think service time has a lot to do with that. What do you think? 3-4 years?
Yeah,
4 years?
and maybe
play out a rookie contract.
That's what I was going to say. But we see guys all the time not play out rookie contract.
We're setting the criteria.
Yeah. So service time. Let's go rookie deal. Okay, rookie deal.
Rookie deal.
Yeah.
You gotta play a rookie deal.
Agreed. And I know in the NFL, it's a violent sport. I'm on the spectrum of. Don't you want to win? Let your team pay and pay you when your time's up. But I understand it. So service time, rookie deal, certainly a thing. Now, how would we word this? Environment. What's around them? The team around them? Like, for instance, Kyler Murray. Okay, let's bring Kyler Murray up. The Cardinals, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., I think there could be more there. So, like, someone who doesn't have enough. For the LeBron factor, he didn't have enough in Cleveland to win. They didn't do a good job of building a roster to win.
I don't know how fair it is to say in the Kyler perspective specifically.
Okay, but that was just nonetheless an example. Like, how do we word what's around the player? How do we word, like, hey, the team isn't good enough around them? Environment? Is it as simple as saying environment?
It should be environment. It should be the relationship with the organization, the fans, and the coaches. Because I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, Myles Garrett, I think, is at a point here where he has a decent relationship with the fans of Cleveland and all those people. But for me, I think that it's situational, though. You can't just, check every box and that's it, right?
Okay.
Because one thing we could say for sure, though, is at least for a quarterback's perspective, there's a whole lot that goes into determining whether they're the option, they're the answer, they're the guy to move forward with. The Kyler Murrays of the world. I mean, you say Caleb Williams of the world. It depends on situation, the whole thing. But 888-760-3776. We got Joe calling in on Russo and Rizzo. Joe, welcome to the program. What's up?
Hey there, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Wanted to call Rizzo
Joe, what's on your mind?
a Bears guy. So I'm a Bears guy, being from Chicago. I understand that Rizzo is as well. I wanted his take on if he thinks Caleb Williams is the answer here for the Bears and what he thinks for the Bears going forward.
So we talked about this earlier, and Joe, first off, partner, I got to say I'm from Cleveland, partner, but I did 3 years in Illinois covering the Bears. The reason I brought up Caleb Williams is because I've seen a lot of quarterbacks in Chicago fail. Mitch Trubisky failed. Justin Fields failed. These are all first-round draft picks. And the organization did him no favors. Matt Nagy was a terrible coach. They hung on to Matt Eberflus too long. They had a perfect time to reset that quarterback and head coach dial, clock, whatever you want to call it, and they bring back Matt Eberflus and fire him mid-year. The Shane Waldron nightmare. I just think this is an organization that doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks, and it's doomed to fail with another one of Caleb Williams. Now, to Colin's point, all right, how are these teams ever going to get better? Like, if I'm going to sit here and say, hey, Caleb's got to get out of Chicago, well, who the hell is going to be able to be a successful quarterback in Chicago? Someone's got to break the mold. I just don't trust the organization to be able to get and develop a quarterback.
Player?
Say that again?
What about the player?
The player needs to play better as well. But everything that I've heard from last year with Shane Waldron refusing to coach the kid, with Matt Eberflus, who was a locker room guy, losing the locker room and having guys go on talk shows saying ridiculous things about the team and their locker room situation.
Well, let's loop him in here. You mentioned the Bears fan that you've talked to in your time. Joe, I assume in Chicago, joining us. Joe, is he the answer to you, or is this a fundamental lock it in, build the statue type of deal with you and Caleb Williams?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be interesting. I think I hear what Rizzo's saying about the Bears being, I've been as frustrated as anybody has ever been with the Bears. I understand, we've had our fair share of young quarterbacks that we've messed up. What I will say, though, I think we have one of the most highly touted draft prospects in recent memory in Caleb Williams. Say what you will about his rookie season. I think that raw talent is there. And now we've got who seems to be the guy, one of the great one of the great offensive minds of the league in Ben Johnson coming in to be our head coach. We got the guy. This was the offensive guy in this head coaching carousel this year. I think, if you have those two pieces, it would be foolish to say that after one season, Caleb Williams needs a change of scenery due to the Bears being a dysfunctional organization. I hear you. I will be the first to say it's a dysfunctional organization, but I think if it's not going to work now, I don't know it ever will work, and I think you've got to give it an honest try with what we've got right now.
Good call, Joe. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
Joe.
chiming in on Russo and Rizzo. I agree with Joe to a degree that if it doesn't work here, then you got to start asking questions about the leadership up above that. But, I mean, to the certain point, you bring up Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. Both those guys stink. Both those guys are not good players. Now, we don't know if Caleb Williams is a great player, a good player, what type of player he is, but I think at the very least, I have more confidence that he is a better player than those two.
And I liked what he brought up about the prospect. And this was like, I did the whole Caleb thing tongue-in-cheek, right? It's to the point where I understand Caleb's not going anywhere. Guys, he's the face of the team. I understand this. But for a change of scenery to get out of Chicago where quarterbacks go to die and they don't give you the benefit of the doubt and they don't put things around you, that's why I said Caleb needs a change of scenery. Now, to Joe's point, Ben Johnson is, the hot shot. It's who everyone wanted. So let's give Ben Johnson a chance. I will say this. Matt Nagy was also a hot shot, made the playoffs one year. and then everything turned out to be really, really bad. So, listen, I'm not trying to play doomsday with Bear fans. I'm rooting, believe it or not, I do root for the Bears with my time in Illinois. I want them to be good. I want them to be a successful organization and get that quarterback right. But you got to start asking questions at some point.
I don't think we're at that point yet. Are we at that point?
We're not at that point yet, but I'm asking the question of, are they going to ruin the no doubt top best prospect? You told me this all the time, and I was, waxing poetically about Jaden Daniels. No one wanted Jaden Daniels. No one was talking about Jaden Daniels.
Second overall, second overall pick in the draft. Nobody wanted him. It's a little bit of a stretch.
Time out. Let me rephrase. Number one, there were no talks about him going
number one. He was not a number one.
It was always Caleb Williams. So if Caleb doesn't have the success that I thought he was going to have as a Bear, and maybe this is me just being all in on Caleb. If you remember, I thought Caleb was plug and play. I thought Caleb was Jaden Daniels. Okay, things take time. You got to have great things in place, great coaches, and a good organization, good players around him. I thought the Bears had all of that outside of the coach. So let's give him a chance. But if this doesn't work out, man, I got some serious questions in Chicago, and that kid should get the hell out the second that in 2-3 years things aren't going right.
That's fair. 2-3 years, then you could start to discuss a change of scenery. That is our argument there. And now you got Jaden Daniels, who's going to be one of the faces of the league. Speaking of faces of the league, the NBA has a similar issue with guys demanding a change of scenery, whether they deserve one or whether they don't. Anthony Davis is another one that pops to mind when he tried to get out of New Orleans. And Stephen A. Smith, you can hear him on First Take and all those ESPN different outlets. Stephen A. Smith was talking about earlier today about the prospect of becoming a face of the league. Do you need to be in the right market for that? Do you need to be the right type of player for that? Do you need to be an American player for that? Take a listen at what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the future prospects of faces of the league in the NBA.
My personal opinion is I don't believe an international player can be the face of the NBA. I know they're global iconic figures. Their popularity extends globally. But the NBA is an American-born sport. And it needs to resonate in America. And if it doesn't resonate in America, then it's not going to matter to America how you resonate beyond. You can't want something more for somebody else than they want for themselves. And my wish is that Anthony Edwards changes his mind.
You agree with him on that?
I think Ant is a really good player. I think that in a couple of years, I hope that he could be the best player in the NBA. Colin, I don't know if he's the best player in the NBA. I don't know if
he's
not.
He's not.
Okay, and I don't know if he could ever carry a franchise to the point where LeBron did. And I know you're nonetheless not too high on Kobe, but how Kobe did. I don't know.
He's carrying a franchise. I mean, they were there
look
last year. They beat the reigning champions.
He had Cat and he had other things around him. Like, this is his year, right? This was his year to kind of take the team over and to put him onto that next level. They're worse this year. So
I mean, that was also because they got rid of a crucial piece. I understand. But my point is, do you agree with the prospect of him saying international players cannot be the face of the NBA?
I do. And it's probably a bit unfair because look at what baseball's doing.
Well, baseball has an international player as the face.
That's what I mean. That's why I said it's probably unfair. I agree with Stephen A. It can't happen in the NBA.
I sort of agree.
I agree with Stephen A. that it can't happen in the NBA, but then you look over to baseball and you see Shohei Ohtani right now and how
it's situational.
Pulverizing. I think with Ohtani, the reason why he is because he does it all. He pitches, he hits, and Colin, I know people don't necessarily know this. The guy could play any position on the diamond as well, and he could steal 35 bases a year. That's why Ohtani's the face of the league. Anthony Edwards is Ant a top 10 player in the league? Serious question.
He's probably flirting around that 10 mark.
Okay, all right. So LeBron at this point, who is still the face of the franchise. What year are we in with Ant? Year 3, year 4? LeBron was arguably one of the best players in the league outside of Kobe Bryant. So that's where I come on the Anthony Edwards train. We can't force a star. Does that I understand? I agree with Stephen A. that I think he should be an American, but you can't force it either. The whole Anthony Edwards thing seems so forced to me.
Well, he's an American. It's the idea of the NBA needs an American chasing immortality. Basketball has been highlighted by its stars that chase the impossible, that test their limits, and that embody the let's accomplish the immortality status of being an NBA star. The Magic Johnson, Larry Birds of the world revitalized. Kareem is an immortal in the NBA. Kobe, you could say, is an immortal in the NBA.
LeBron
is an immortal in the NBA. Is there an American-born star at the moment that is chasing, not even close, but chasing that immortality factor in the NBA? And outside of Curry and LeBron, Curry was an immortal. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he is.
Curry's an immortal.
I'm not arguing
Durant
that.
probably isn't. But, I mean, that immortality status of being an NBA star, there's not an American chasing that. And I think that resonates with the American audience more than people want to give it credit for.
And look at what happened in the Olympics this past year. Who are the two players that led Team USA to that gold? It was LeBron James and Steph Curry. And I worry when those guys are done. Even Kevin Durant is a fantastic Olympic basketball player, incredible. Carmelo Anthony, arguably the best Olympic. These guys are almost done. When these guys are done, is Team USA even going to be able to come closer to the bronze medal?
Well,
so
I'm not talking about the
I understand it, but you can't. This goes back to my argument of you can't force it. Like if the player, if the guy you're trying to make the face of the league just isn't as good as these other international players, you can't force it, and then you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Now, Edwards is 23 years old. The guy some time.
Not everyone's LeBron, and I understand that.
But I think the NBA has gotten hurt a little bit by trying to hitch their wagon to a new, hopefully international American-born star, and they've gotten burned a little bit. The Zion Williamsons of the world, people thought he was going to be a huge star. He can't stay healthy. And now people are questioning how much he loves basketball because he's never on the court. And when he is on the court, he's great. And he was a great college player. He was a name that people knew in the college hoop sphere, which doesn't happen anymore. John Morant's another one who kind of came out of nowhere, and everybody thought this was going to be our next big star. And then he has the off-court issues. And off of that, he gets suspended. And then Anthony Edwards is no role model himself. Let's call it like we see it, with all the off-court stuff that he has going on, with all the different mothers of different varieties and everything like that. I don't really want to get into it,
sure,
but that's really the bottom line with him. You need Curry. Curry plays his cards right. Curry's an American that is from the NBA blood, who changed the game, who was somebody you could look up to. LeBron is the same way. LeBron was never in trouble. That makes a difference.
It does.
These international guys stay out of trouble. But the problem is, I don't think an American audience loves really as much the international star comparatively to an American. That's just my takeaway on it. Nikola Jokic is great. You don't see him for 4 months a year. He's not in America. He's in Serbia racing horses.
Yeah, and then the factor of them competing against Team USA. Like, what did the show we did yesterday was pride. What's one thing to get people to care about? Country pride. Well, what happens when the face of the league beats the crap out of the United States in the Olympics because we're not good enough? Do you want to know who I thought it was going to be, Colin? His first 2 years in the NBA was Jason Tatum. I thought Jason Tatum was the next American phenom, the next guy up.
He's still a great player. He's top 10 player in the league.
He's not
an immortal.
He's not an immortal, and he's not as good as he's not at this point where he's at in his career. I thought he would be better. And what's the talks with him in the postseason is that he's not the one that gets it done. He needed Jaylen Brown to bail him out. So quickly, he
wouldn't play the best on the team. I understand.
If I could butt in, I wish it could have been Tatum, and it should have been Tatum, but he wasn't good enough.
Trae Young was somebody that people wanted to hitch their wagon to as an American star.
No deep.
And that is somebody that hasn't been able to figure it out on his own team, on his own roster. The NBA has struck out on a number of American stars that they're trying to hitch a wagon to and to embrace as the next big-time American star. And based on what Stephen A. said earlier today, that he doesn't think that an international player can be the face of the NBA, part of me agrees. Part of me, now the best player in the league can be an international player. That's completely true. And I would say the top 4 players in the league are international players at this point in time. But I think in face of the NBA, it's sort of a different – LeBron's the face of the NBA. LeBron is not the best player in the league at the moment. LeBron's probably flirting in the top 7, top 5 when he's at his best. But, I mean – that, to me, is about the brand, is about what he offers, is about how American audiences resonate with him. LeBron has the super fans. There's Jokic fans, there's Doncic fans, but it doesn't resonate as much. Internationally it does. But in the American audience, in the American sphere, I think part of it is people want to see an American do it, and they want to see an American chase that immortality. I don't think that's unfair to say.
No, and LeBron is worldwide, too. And you want to know who was worldwide, too, was Kobe Bryant. I mean, the people loved Kobe Bryant.
He was on the Lakers.
Worldwide. Yeah. So
and there's a mixture of right market, right time, right piece, and right player, and they haven't been able to crack that code.
Kyle, the last thing, I think that LeBron's ready to hand it off too. I think he's exhausted of carrying the league a little bit. I think he's a bit exhausted.
He's going to retire probably in the next 1 to 2, 3 years.
I think he's. I think he's
off that. I don't
fed
think
up.
they care.
He's fed up.
And
he's done.
Curry does his own thing. Yeah. I think the NBA is banking very, very hard on Cooper Flagg at Duke University to take up the mantle and be that next big American star that people love rallying around. Whether he gets the right market and the right player, the right timing, the whole thing, and whether they're good or not remains to be seen. 888-760-3776. Can the next face of the NBA be an international player? Are we being unfair to the international crowd, the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world? Giannis is by the end of his career, Giannis is going to be a top 25 player in the history of the NBA, and I would say Jokic would be around the same. Those two guys are both, at this point in time, top 25 players in the history of the NBA by the end of their career. I think that's fair to say at this point in time. They are not the face of the NBA. Why is that? Why is that? Is it because they're not marketable? It's because why? It's because Giannis is from Greece and Jokic is from Serbia, and you don't see them as much. They're not as much embedded in American culture as some of the other guys are. I think that's fair to say. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. Can an international star be that next face of the league? Is it going to be the Wembanyama's of the world? We'll have to. It remains to be seen. 888-760-3776. We'll loop in Christian Katz to the conversation. Do a little 5 at 5 next. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Anna Jar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Time now for the Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. Every Player of the Week is eligible to win a scholarship at the end of the year. This year, a $25,000 scholarship will be awarded to an athlete, with $10,000 going to the winner's high school athletic department. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond. Here's Cade Chumsland.
Our Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week is Okeechobee girls wrestler Neve Robinson. Neve won her 2nd district championship on Wednesday night with ease, boosting her 17-2 record on the season. With how quickly she took down her opponent, I had to ask her what she's thinking while on the mat.
It's my match. I'm going to take over. You're not finna take over, I am. Once I have your arm, you're part of my body, and that's just how I think mentally.
Neve plans on attending Penn State in the fall, and she's taking a Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week award with her.
Hey golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round on the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on. Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. Friday, the Heat take on the Raptors, and also try to remember how to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Will Miami bring the Heat up north, or will the Raptors make them wish they packed a parka? We go live to the Great White North at 7 on ESPN 106.3.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams: Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
South Florida's one and only PGA Tour event returns to the Champion Course at PGA National, February 26th through March 2nd. The Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches will deliver a best-in-class on-site experience featuring a variety of fan amenities alongside the premier competition. Kids 15 and under are admitted free with a ticketed adult. This can't-miss event is right around the corner. Buy your tickets now at thecognizantclassic.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
It's the Good Greek Spiro. For the best move ever, go to goodgreek.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
Boy, I'll tell you one thing, this spotty weather right now over at the TGL at the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens has just got me thinking about how much I miss the sun, how much I miss the sunshine, how much I miss the summer season, and especially what comes with it, and that is baseball. Baseball on the horizon here in Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches. It is the place to be because it's time for baseball finally in West Palm Beach because spring training just around the corner. Coming up next week, you could grab your family, friends, go get some food, go get some drinks, go spend the day at the ballpark. And it's local, it's easy, it's not necessarily the hassle that is attached with a major league park. It's so much nicer, so much smaller, and so much more quaint and intimate. You can watch the Astros and the Nationals at Cacti Park take on teams like the Yankees. The Mets are coming into town, the Braves. First time ever, the Toronto Blue Jays are coming into town. So if you're a Canadian baseball fan, you get to see those teams. You catch the excitement from February 22nd through March 23rd. You go get your tickets now. They're on sale at cactipark.com. Don't miss the chance to be part of the action because spring training is here. Spring training is going to be a blast. And I, for one, am so much looking forward to all the great bizarre nature and the romanticism of baseball because how can you not be romantic about baseball? And go get romantic at Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Second hour here. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat back at the City Play Studios helping us out. As always, Christian, how are you? What's going on?
Never better. Got a new shirt, as I told you before. Got into the mail when I got home yesterday, so haven't even washed it. You know, like it's got that weird factory smell. Yeah.
All
right, hang on.
Dude, wear a different shirt.
Hold
Save
on,
it for tomorrow.
hold on. I am totally wash things immediately, like blankets, sheets, clothes. You don't wash?
Listen,
Seacat,
I'm
the
sure
first
the
wear?
hands of the young people that made this shirt, because spoiler alert, this shirt is not made in the USA. I'm sure they were nice and clean.
The young people?
Yeah.
The young people?
If I were to take a guess, I think the person that made this might not abide by American labor laws with children.
So wouldn't that be all the more reason to go to wash it?
Yeah, you know, it's sitting in the mail for a while. Those germs are dead.
Okay, so you online ordered
You're
it.
an out of sight, out of mind
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
You online ordered it, Christian. You didn't go to a store. See, well, if I'm going to a store and I buy a
Right,
shirt,
if
I
you're-
throw it in the wash
If you're under the
immediately.
impression this was not, let's just say, made in-house, how long did it take to get to you? Was it quick?
2-day shipping, of course.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, what a nice one you got. How often do you get a new? Is this a new Hawaiian shirt?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm looking
And
right
how
at
often-
you, and you can look right at me, and you can see that it is a Hawaiian shirt. Yes.
There he is. Yeah,
Hey,
there
hey,
he is.
Christian.
Hang on.
How often do you
Hold
get
on.
a new Hawaiian shirt?
This is my first one I've bought in maybe 2 months, but it's like $12 or $13, so it wasn't too bad.
And
of a
how many
purchase.
Hawaiian shirts do you have in the rotation at this point?
It's a nice one.
The honest rotation. The thing is, sometimes shirts shrink depending on what material they are, and they start to feel
Just
weird
never
after
wash
a while.
them, and they'll never shrink. Just don't ever wash them.
I think I've got like 9 or 10.
9 or 10. Okay.
You're going with the blue Hashira look right now. I like it. I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Christian's got a new shirt. He's
that's what the
wearing it
tag
without
says.
washing it. That's very strange, Christian. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think that's a little odd. What do you have? Do you have a washer and dryer in your apartment or wherever you live?
Yeah, about 3 feet from my bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah. Then what are we doing here,
So
partner?
it was talking to you saying wash me, and you did not do it. And
It's a
instead
waste
you
of
put
water.
it on the next day.
No, I didn't need to wash
It's a
it
waste
yet.
of water.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
All right.
Are you a wear multiple pants guy in between washes?
I used to not be, because when you're like growing up as a kid, if mom does the laundry, you don't think about those things. Like it's like, eventually it'll show up to my bedroom clean. But now that I do laundry, I do maybe 2.5 for pants, depending on what type of pants they are. If they're sweatpants,
Half
they
a-
get
half a
sweaty
wear.
and gross. But
I
if they're
agree, yeah.
jeans, you can do it 3 times and kind of be okay. As long as you put them inside out, hang them on the closet, and don't wear them the next following day, I'm good with that.
Because it just has to sit somewhere and all the germs die. Is that
Yeah, it airs
that's the
out.
Christian cat mentality
Of
around
course.
sure, maybe there's something to that. Let's have some fun here. Let's do a little 5 and 5.
Number 1.
The Bengals are trying to secure Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson to new contracts. Not one of those guys, not 2 of those guys, all 3 of them. Here's Tim Hasselbeck on how these Bengals are doing things.
The idea isn't to have your quarterback throw for over 5,000 yards and be in the MVP conversation. The idea is to win football games. It happens on both sides of the ball. How you allocate your money matters. And look, there's a reason they fired their defensive coordinator after this year. So I just think that, as we talk about this, we talk about the stars, and rightfully so, but even the stars need help. Josh Allen needs help. The stars still need help, and it can't just be in the form of perimeter talent.
Christian, question?
Yeah, you talking to me? What? Oh.
Yes.
Is it a good idea for the
question-
Bengals to pay all these guys in this offseason?
So, Colin, I look at this a couple ways. If they pay these guys, they're basically running back what they had last year. They might be able to afford a couple of position and needs and get someone on a discount rack. But if they pay all of these 3 guys this offseason and bring all 3 of them back, aren't they bringing back the same team that didn't make the playoffs last year, where Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns 2 different times and missed the playoffs? Is it insanity to run it back again after?
Or to the flip side, to play devil's advocate, do you get rid of the best part of your team?
Right.
Do you want to break up the best part of your team? Do you want to make the most important player in that locker room unhappy? And that's the bot. That I think it's a lot of it is more about Burrow than it is about winning football games. Because if Burrow is very unhappy with how they're handling this, if he's unhappy with the amount of money that they're allocating either towards the offense, towards the defense, or both, then I think that's a very tricky fine line that the Bengals are going to have to walk here before the X factor of that team, that franchise, is going to express his continued displeasure with how they're doing things. So you got to find a happy medium.
Okay.
I don't think you can't go 3 for 3. It's just not feasible. And you got to hope that T. Higgins signs a $150 million contract for 5 years, and then you can move on with your life. I think that's the only way you can do this.
And then I'm going to ask a tag question to you, Colin, after number 2, CCAT.
Number 2.
As Rizzo alluded to, the NFL franchise tag window opens, today. Last year, 8 players were tagged by teams. 7 of those 8 players, they eventually got long-term deals. Who's a player you think is going to get tagged at some point this offseason?
with T. Higgins, he threw a fit about the tag. What was it, last
last
year?
year.
They're not going to tag him
No.
again, right? They can't tag him again.
No, I don't know the rules with that, too. Darnold's the one that pops into mind.
Right. And if they don't tag Darnold, where's he going to go? And we've talked a lot on this show, boys. There are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. There aren't enough good quarterbacks out there for teams that need them. So Darnold is going to go somewhere if they don't tag him. I think Minnesota would be stupid not to at least tag him this year. Like J.J. McCarthy probably isn't going to be the happiest person ever, but that's
To start him or to bench him?
to start him. I would bring Darnold back and start him. McCarthy's not going to be happy, but what happens if you bring in McCarthy? And listen, I'm usually a fan of starting your rookie quarterback, but with the injury, the reason I'm not on that right now, with the injury that McCarthy suffered, is he going to be able to pick things up immediately, or are you going to have to go through half of a season to wait and see about JJ? So I would probably bring back Darnold for one more year, have McCarthy truly be a backup, practicing every day, learning how to be a pro again, and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. If there's a way to do it, that's probably your route. You got to cover all bases to a sense, and you got somebody guaranteed just in case. And, you're probably going to go separate ways with Darnold at a certain point, maybe a year after that. And maybe it's all a matter of how pro-ready they think McCarthy is. Does he need another year? Would that be beneficial? He's still young.
Right.
Guy's like a 21-year-old, so you can get away with it. And you still have 2 years of him as a starter before you got to make a decision on him. I think that is a safe move. It doesn't sound like the Vikings are going to do that. Let's move on. Number 3.
Number 3.
Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, the top quarterbacks in this draft class. Cam Ward has come out and said he'll remember the teams that pass up on him. Let's hear from Stephen A. Smith.
Cam Ward should be at the top of this list. Shedeur has all the intangibles, and we love the poise. We love the pedigree. We know where he gets what he has from. He can make the requisite throws. He can chunk up some yards on the ground, but he's not that mobile. When you look at Cam Ward, 67% of his passes completed, 4,313 yards, FBS best 39 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions. Played 5 years in college. 5 years. In that time span, 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. We can't ignore that.
Yes, I'm sure Stephen A. Smith grinded on the tape for those two quarterbacks, but I'm asking who is number one on the Russo and Rizzo big board for quarterbacks?
See, I have my own reasons to not like either one. I really wasn't pleased with how Cam Ward handled that bowl game and how he left at halftime. Regardless if you think he should have left, he should have stayed or not, I think that is a big no-no for me. I do not like how he handled that, whether you think he's protecting his body because of one half of football or not. It's just something I just don't love. But Cam Ward, I think, is probably the better player. But I think they both have their problems. I think Shedeur Sanders is slower, takes a lot of sacks, and didn't necessarily win a ton of games. But I think Cam Ward, on the other end, it plays a little too nonchalant, a little too slow for me. And they each have their issues. I got to see how they both do at the combine. I got to see how they both throw, how they both do with teams. But I think off the arm talent and the stature, the build, I think Cam Ward's probably your slightly better option. I watched both, and I both thought that they each had their own issues.
I think Shedeur is more of a pro. I think Shedeur is more of a pro quarterback in the sense of I like his presence in the pocket. I like his ability to make throws in the pocket and stay in the pocket. I watched a lot of Cam Ward as well last year, Kyle, and his improvising, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in the league. We talked a lot about Caleb Williams during the show, and I think Caleb was 10 times the quarterback that Cam was in college, and they were very similar in their improvising skills. I think I would go with Shedeur because I think he's more of the prototypical NFL quarterback who's going to stay in the pocket and make a throw. Now, the position has evolved. You're going to need to use your legs at some point, and I think Shedeur is capable. I'd probably go with Sanders, and C-Cat, I got some breaking news here as a Brown fan. I want the Browns to take Shedeur Sanders. I want the Browns to take Sanders at 2.
Do I need to
sold.
disapprove or approve? Good?
Drop the balloons.
Yeah. I was expecting, boys, to be honest, I was expecting a bigger reaction from you two on that. But no, I think
so you need a quarterback, so you want to draft one of the two best quarterbacks in the draft.
Jameis is a free agent, right? Jameis is a free agent?
Jameis isn't going to come back.
Jameis is not coming back.
He's
All
not
right.
He's
I
not
was
going to
say
come
that would
back.
be quite the quarterback room with Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Shedeur
No,
Sanders.
and Deshaun, he's injured for most of the year. You won't see him in a Browns uniform next year. I think you draft Shador and you go from there. I think he's the more NFL-style quarterback than Cam Ward. I'm ready for my Brownies to take Shador Sanders.
All right. Number 4.
Number 4.
Hey, Evan Cohen. Remember that name? We have the Evan Cohen Studios right here in the City Place studios of ESPN 106.3 ESPN West Palm. Well, he was doing his show, Unsportsmanlike, on ESPN Radio from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. from our studios today, and during which he had an interesting take on Steph Curry and LeBron James.
Guys, if Draymond Green is right and the Golden State Warriors win a championship this year, number 5 for Steph Curry, I would rather have Steph Curry's career than LeBron James's career.
Ooh, that is scorching hot, sir.
I would rather win 5 championships with one team than 4 championships with 3 teams. I would rather be beloved in one city forever and have a home forever and do it the way that Steph did versus 4 the way that LeBron did. LeBron will go down as the better player. I'm not doubting that. LeBron will go down as the second greatest player of all time. Not doubting that. But if you said to me, with my personal preferences in terms of how to operate, if Steph Curry won a championship this year with this team adding Jimmy Butler midseason, I'd rather have Steph Curry's career than LeBron James's career.
I think it's more likely they don't make the. Sorry,
What's your
Christian.
thought?
Go ahead. I totally forgot.
What's your thoughts on Evan's take?
Sorry, Christian. I'm so sorry.
You
I'm a
LeBron
guy.
It's okay.
I know. That's on partner. That's on me. I'm terrible. I think it's more likely the Warriors don't make the actual playoffs. Like, they'll make the playing tournament, but I think it's more likely they don't get out of the playing tournament than win the title. They're not winning a title.
He also
this year,
led it
right?
with if Draymond Green is right.
Okay, well,
right?
I understand. A number of things here. I respect Steph for staying. And I even told you yesterday, the only good thing that came for that All-Star weekend was Steph being able to raise that ridiculous trophy in San Francisco. I absolutely respect Steph Curry as one of the best shooter in the NBA, one of the best players in NBA history, and a pioneer of changing the game for the worse, for the better. You can make that argument. LeBron's a better player. LeBron has the better career.
He said that.
LeBron is the better player.
He said he's a better player.
LeBron
let's
has
get that out of the way.
LeBron has the better career. I don't care that he left.
Hold on. Would you trade the 5 championships? And what does LeBron have? 4 MVPs. So LeBron has got to have 4 championships with 3 franchises and 4 MVPs. Comparatively to Steph Curry, who had a later start to his career due to injury issues, stayed with one team his whole career, and win 5 championships in basically 4 different types of teams, all things considered. I mean, I don't agree, but I don't not see the vision.
And then I'm gonna be a homer here. 1 in Cleveland counts as 10. So let's make that clear.
Right.
Okay, 1 in Cleveland beating that 73-9 Warrior team. Okay, give me a break. I don't care.
Curry won.
I don't
with
care.
That team with Harrison Barnes and Andre Iguodala.
I
He
don't
won
care.
with the team with Durant.
Well, yeah, hang on.
Hold
Can we rewind the first championship? Kyrie busted kneecap, didn't even play in the finals outside
played
of
in
game
game
1.
one.
And then Kevin Love got his shoulder ripped out by that Kelly Olynyk in game 1. Come on.
What, they win in 5 or 6? So
They won in 6. The
Oh,
Cavs,
let's give
come
Cleveland
on.
another championship.
The Cavs-
We already given them 10 more. Let's give them another one.
Kyle, the Cavs were up 2 games to 1 in that series, and Dellavedova almost died from drinking too much coffee. That's Mickey Mouse. I understand the point.
All right, you can't say that because
And LeBron should have won MVP that time. The fact they gave Andre Iguodala the MVP trophy. Sorry.
as a losing player.
Sorry.
As a losing player.
Yeah, he should have. Dude, I understand Jerry West. That's his thing. Okay, but LeBron deserved it. Go back and look at the stats. Go back and look at the games.
All right.
What was
well,
it?
let me tell you this. There's one trophy case. There's one trophy in Steph Curry's case, and there isn't in LeBron. We're not going to give LeBron two imaginary games because of what you're saying. So he won a championship with that team. He won a championship with the Durant teams. He won a championship with the Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins team. And if he was able to do it again with the Jimmy Butlers and company, he is the underlying variable. It's not Durant. It's not Kerr. It's Steph Curry. And for that, I think in terms of an impressive career, how somebody would do it, I totally see the argument that winning your 2 MVPs, changing the game the way you did, and winning 5 championships over the course of an 11-year period, I don't not see the vision on how that would be an esteemed career comparatively to the ebbs and flows that you see in LeBron's.
I hear you. I hear you. I guess I'm the homer here on this show. The one in Cleveland, I think, means a little bit more, but I understand your point of staying with the team.
Fine,
if you ask me, Colin,
let's give Curry the trophy against Toronto when Durant blew his Achilles out and Klay Thompson towards ACL. Wait, hold on. It's the same thing. I thought Kyrie Irving got hurt and Kevin Love got hurt, and the Warriors didn't play well then, and because they all banged up, but Toronto won. So let's take it away from Toronto.
Fine. Okay.
Guys get hurt.
You got me there. Okay, you got me there. But I think the one in Cleveland with what that meant to the fans, Colin, the storyline there too. I mean, he left like a villain. We all hated him, and then he comes back, even though we all still hate him. He came back, and
that most important title. It's probably that LeBron team in 2016. But the 4 championships versus the 5 with the 3 different franchises versus the 1. In terms of a storied career with a franchise, the immortalization in a franchise, I'm not necessarily agreeing with it, but I see both sides. I do. Now, the individual accolades, there's no comparison. There's no comparison to what LeBron has been able to accomplish over the course of his career in terms of the points, the rebounds, the assists, how dominant he's been, the longevity, the whole thing. Totally understand. But, I mean, to the point of accomplishment, to pedigree.
Where do we rate all time the performances in the playoffs? Though, like I understand, fine. You know, he was with one team. LeBron will never be able to have that. I understand that. And as a Cavs fan, I wish he would have played 25 years for us because I think that's what he's going to play. But where do we rank like all-time great performances in the playoffs? Because I don't even think it comes close. With the accolades and games that LeBron has had in the playoffs, I don't think it's.
We're not wondering who's a better player. We're wondering who's had a better career.
LeBron's had a better career.
Oh, I know, but this is the if on if he is able to. You keep it. It's like you're short-sighting this whole thing.
It's not just better. It's whose career would you rather have? That's kind of the Evan Cohen take.
I guess.
So I understand how that's a more fulfilling career for Steph Curry. It's very black and white. I played for Golden State. I gave Golden State all of this.
Did I miss the assignment, C-Cat? Did I turn it on paper?
And it's a franchise that hadn't succeeded since the likes of Chamberlain and Rick Barry over in 1975. So there's something there that he revitalized. You want to talk about revitalizing Cleveland. He revitalized Golden State.
But LeBron revitalized the Heat, too, right? I mean, I understand they won with Shaq and Wade, but
6 years removed from a championship, but I understand. Okay. They're 5 years removed. It was less than that. I mean, they got him in 2010, 2011. And they won a championship in 2006. I mean, come on. The guy's still the freshman in high school is a senior by the time they get LeBron in the mix. So I understand that. I wouldn't say you revitalized them. And they went to the Lakers, and the Lakers are the Lakers.
Christian, does one in Cleveland count as 4,
no.
as I explained?
No.
Okay. Clevelanders disagree. What are we on? Number 5
the
Clevelanders
Can we
move on?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Can we?
Who would have thought?
Number 5.
No, so to Mike Rizzo and everyone from Cleveland, winning in Cleveland is more important. Oh, who would have thought? Yeah, that makes sense.
But Christian, 1964 was the last championship we had. 64.
That's great.
And that was the Browns pre-Super Bowl era.
Are these like unsalary capped leagues? Is there not enough money in Cleveland?
What, the team stinks, so we should award LeBron more championships because they got it done once?
72.
Isn't it more impressive to get it done more than once?
Hold on.
Multiple
I had to hear all year the greatest team of all time, too, 73-9. It was an incredible game. It was an incredible. That's why I get so upset when Durant went there, but now I'm getting down the rabbit hole.
Number 5.
I agree. Best team of all time, I understand. And that's not the best team of all time because they weren't as successful in the postseason, and the Thunder had them on the ropes too. So it wasn't just them. And the 2018 team with Durant, which everybody thought was one of the great teams of all time, the first year, 2017, that team dominated everybody when they went 15-1 or 16-1 in the postseason.
Yep.
But the next year, when Harden and Chris Paul and the Rockets had him on the ropes in Game 6 of 2018, they should have beaten them. Up 3-2 in that series, and then Chris Paul hurts his hamstring, and then Game 7, the Rockets missed 27 straight threes, and they dropped it when they had him on the ropes. So, I mean, talking about how great those teams were, they had some gutty performances. They escaped a bunch of series, but I don't think it's – I don't think we should allot more to one or the other.
To that, the 3-1 Oklahoma City up in that same year, then Durant going, coward move.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Sorry.
Curveball for you because Golf Weekly just speculated for some reason, talking about TGL. That's where Russo and Rizzo are currently residing at the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens. If you take the politics out of it, I want your answer on this question, because they are speculating that President Donald Trump might be at tonight's TGL event for a couple of reasons. Mar-a-Lago's very close to Palm Beach Gardens. Also, him and Tiger seem to be close. They played golf over last weekend. If you were to be in the same room with the president, what would you say with him, all politics removed from the conversation?
What would I say? Are we talking about Trump specifically?
Yeah, sure.
All right. If I was in the room with Trump and I can't say any things politics-wise, what would I say to him?
Yes.
I'm
going to sanitize.
I try to get a story out of him in his heyday, because he's met everybody, he's done everything. If I can't bring up politics and I can't bring up any of the foreign nations things he has had in his career, but maybe I'd ask him if he regrets running for president deep down. Do you regret doing this and putting yourself through, whether you think he's deserving of the presidency or not? But he got shot out, for crying out loud. Right. Does part of him regret it? And if he was able to be honest with me and give me a real answer that's not politicized, I'd be interested in hearing that.
I'd ask to play golf with him, Christian. Honestly, I'd love to play around with Trump.
That's true. I feel like playing on his courses for us at our financial means are kind of, that might be the only way.
Right.
It's more realistic to become friends with the president than to afford a round at Trump Doral or Trump International.
Right. I would simply ask if we could play golf sometime. I would love to see the course.
You wouldn't ask him anything interesting about his life?
I would ask why he likes Diet Coke that much. It's a weird thing to kind of align yourself with.
It's an appetite suppressant.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I could be completely wrong. But
yeah,
I'm
it's just speculating.
Sure.
He probably won't be at TGO. But for some reason, there's a bunch of articles going out there led by Golf Week speculating he might be there. He was at Daytona. He was at the Super Bowl.
Christian and Colin, did you see the U.S. hockey players wanting him to come to? Did you mention this? I'm sorry.
The USA Canada?
Okay, yeah. The USA players for the hockey team are asking President Trump to go to the game tomorrow.
I'd put money on him actually showing up.
Yeah,
and it's on Thursday.
Maybe in the break, boys, as we're up against it, I'll find the article and I could have it ready next week.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would make sense, because the whole booing the anthem, it's all charged deriving from him, where he's a part of the story there.
Listen, politics aside, it's the president of the United States. You want him in the building if you're going to have a USA Canada hockey game in the middle of the season that everybody's into. You gotta at least have some sense of where we are, what we're doing, and who he is.
Yep.
Whether you agree with him or not, whether you want him to be president or not, whether any of that, he's still the president of the United States. I mean, you could say the same thing with Obama, too. You could not have been the biggest Obama fan in the world, but if Obama showed up somewhere, that's the president of the United States.
Do you want to know what? I want to hoop with Obama. I heard he's got game.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I should ask you guys, do you feel a different temperature in your surroundings right now at TGL? Because you guys have been there for a bunch of different ones, so it doesn't feel like the president's going to be there?
No, that's not so much, right?
I don't.
I feel like it would feel different. There'd be different personnel at the arena if the president was assumed to be there.
I can't get a sense that any Secret Service is present, but maybe that's purposeful. Maybe they show up when he shows up, and that's how they do it, but who knows? I'm not getting the sense that he is in the area or on his way. But that is Christian Cat. That was our 5 at 5. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Attention, South Florida! The PGA Tour champions and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are teaming up for a one-of-a-kind event, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. From March 31st to April 6th, the action takes over the old course at Broken Sound in Boca Raton, featuring Hall of Fame legends like Warren Sapp, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, Rondé Barber, Chris Carter, and more. Tickets are on sale now at JamesHardyInvitational.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the home of legends.
Welcome to Recycle Right Trivia, sponsored by the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. Question 1. What belongs in the yellow recycling bin?
Newspapers, cereal boxes, magazines?
Correct! Now, blue bin. What goes in there?
Plastic bottles, aluminum cans, glass jars?
You nailed it! Remember, Palm Beach County, recycle right and stay in the game for our planet.
The all-new 2025 Land Rover Defender 130, designed for adventure, built for luxury. With seating for up to 8 and power for any terrain, it's ready to take you further. Now with financing as low as 3.9% APR for 48 months. That's just $22.53 a month per $1,000 financed. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today or go to LandRoverPalmBeach.com to start your adventure in the 2025 Defender 130.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most. Getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@ESPNWestPalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
It's Truck Month with the Ford crew.
Sam, do you know what these trucks have in common?
They are all Ford trucks.
And
they're built Ford tough?
Also true, but specifically they're Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years.
48 years? We should celebrate a month-long event.
Sam.
A truckload of value.
Sam.
Across the entire lineup of Ford trucks.
Sam.
That's called Truck Month already, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I knew it.
Based on 1977 to 2024 CY Industry reported total sales.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You got the TGL on tonight. You're in the thick of the college basketball conference play. You got the NBA coming up here shortly, a post-All-Star break. You got the Four Nations Championship between the USA and Canada over on Thursday. No better time to get started over on Hard Rock Bet. Go download it today on Hard Rock Bet on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet to get started now. Hard Rock's great because the Discover page has got everything covered for the sophisticated player who wants really intricate parlays with promos and everything attached. You could go and check out what is trending there, what other players are taking there. Or if you're the simple player and you're figuring this out all for the first time, you could take a shorter parlay, an easier parlay, a simpler parlay where it's not as complicated to hit everything. That's what the Discover page has to offer as well. Caters to both players. You got the MMA, you got the TGL you could bet on, you got tennis events you could bet on. You got everything you need over on Hard Rock Bet. If you try it now, you get up to $100 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, that first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, can be the over, whatever you like to bet, any game you choose. Win that first bet, it gets the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Mike Rizzo with you at the TGL here. It sounds like President Donald Trump might actually be in town for this TGL event tonight.
Yeah, it's a hot rumor.
So you heard that from people around here?
I've heard that from two different sources that overheard us talking about it.
So no confirmation, but...
what level of sources are we talking about?
Fans with sources.
Okay.
Hashtag fans with sources. Hashtag fans with sources. But
right.
I don't get that vibe, Colin. I got to say, I don't get that vibe right now.
Yeah, unless he brings the cavalry, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a... I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe the security people here don't even know. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I would assume I would see Secret Service at least somewhere, but I mean, maybe they don't go somewhere.
Maybe they're up in the trees.
Listen, I've done it before. Like, I walked into my local gym over in West Palm Beach, over near Okeechobee, and I walked in and it was Robert F. Kennedy hanging out there, getting a lift on, and. I was walking in. I was kind of half asleep. It was a Sunday morning, and I walk in. All of a sudden, I get my pockets cleared by two dudes in Hawaiian shirts with earpieces. Who are you guys? And it was Robert F. Kennedy's security detail, and he was doing lifts. He was in jeans, boots, a blue T-shirt, and he's on the shoulder shrug machine for about 9 sets in a row. And I was able to say hello, and he had 7-8 guys with him. He had snipers on the roofs.
Wow.
So across the street. And this is a gym. I'm not going to shout it out, but this is a gym it's in West Palm Beach. It's just sitting there. There's so much foot traffic. There's so much car traffic going through and through. But that's how I met RFK, and I guess there's your example. I've seen.
When was
that? And this
that?
is when he was still running for president.
Okay.
I see.
I should have said this. This is back in August, so this is before he pulled out of the race. This is still when he was a presidential candidate. Now, I thought it was a little much at first. I'm like, all right, Bob, this is a little much in terms of the coverage we need at so-and-so fitness is a little much. There was about 5 people in the building, and it was a Sunday morning. It was a little much. But then I realized, Kennedy's,
Right.
you got to be careful. So I understand.
Okay.
I understand. And it's all about protecting these guys. But I was fascinated. So I've seen it from there, and I haven't gotten that sense here. I feel like we're kind of dissing the security guards here. I kind of feel bad because I'm sure they can hear all this.
But no, I don't think we're dissing them. I mean, there would be, there'd be black cars all around. I don't see that right now.
Maybe he
man.
brings the cavalry.
You know what I mean?
I kind of feel like we're just going to see him
I'd-
appear behind you guys. Like, you have a entrance in a parking lot directly behind you in the camera on the stream on YouTube, where we're just going to see.
Yeah, this would not be his entrance, though. This is like a VIP entrance. This is not the VIP entrance. I think he'd go in where the players go.
He'd be in the back at the trap. You know what I mean? Like all
He'd go
the
in through
way
like
back.
the underground cellar door or something like that.
Is there a
I don't know.
helipad?
Would we
like
be
there?
allowed to get? Are we allowed to have a political interview if he comes by and he says, "Hey, I want to jump on with ESPN West Palm"? Are we allowed to do that?
I mean, it's the president. I'm not saying no, brother.
Can't say no.
I'm not
Can't say
saying no.
I completely agree.
It's the
We're doing it here.
president of
We're
the
getting
United
president
States.
on.
I'm
That
not,
feels like
listen,
an ask
getting
for
the president.
forgiveness. Yeah, if he was running, or if anyone was running for president, then you pause. But when they won, it's kind of like,
Listen,
yeah, you kind of
guys,
won.
I'm going to be completely honest. No matter who the president is, if
Yeah,
they
get
want to
him
come on the
You
show,
don't
you're
say no.
you're
Yeah, that's
coming
the
on.
president of the United States.
It
You-
could
you-
be
you get him
whoever,
on.
you know.
You're asking about the kickoff
Obama,
rule. He hates it.
Trump.
Trump hates the kickoff rule?
Yeah, the NFL one. He does not
Is
like
that
the
what he
new
said?
dynamic cook-off. Yeah, he's well documented not liking it.
Oh, okay. And he's a sports fan, so we could get we make a sports-centered interview with the president of the United States. That's if
Should we?
If Trump decides to
hang on,
walk through the front door and decide to stop by the sports desk.
I'm gonna
At the
play
TGL,
yeah,
of course.
I'm gonna play radio guy here. I mean, we got 5 minutes of showtime left. Are we extending it 5 more minutes to see if
No,
Trump walks
the
in?
hard clock's the hard
Extended
clock.
as long as he
Sorry.
stays.
No, can't do it. Sorry. I don't care if it
What
is
do you
the
mean,
Messiah.
dude?
No.
If Trump walks through the door at 5:55, it says, "Boys, I'm jumping on with you." I'm sorry, man.
We've got high school game day
We got
coming
what?
up, and we've
What?
got an interview with the
Stop
coach of
it.
St. Andrews.
Stop it! Oh my God, Christian!
Yeah.
You know you're saying that, and I know you don't believe that.
You got to do it. You got to do it. So I'm curious. I mean, maybe he'll show
Yeah,
up today
spread
at
the
the
word.
SoFi Center at Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. He's local. He's close here. He's a 20-minute ride away. I guess it remains to be seen. We're not actually. We're going to have people at the event tonight, so I guess we'll get confirmation when it soon happens. But I'm not seeing wouldn't you see TV cameras?
Colin,
Wouldn't you see
this
news
Colin,
things?
this parking lot would be loaded with black cars.
I don't
with
know about that. I don't know about that. But maybe wouldn't at least the press?
Yeah,
They'd show up.
You think the
Yeah, I
paparazzi?
Aren't
think
you
they'd
the
show
press? Like, we are the press.
Well, we're here. We're here. We're not here because of him. We're here because we love the TGL.
Yes.
I mean, other people would be like you think that the random Joe Schmo TV station would come here to hang out with because the president's here, right?
I think there are TV stations here.
I think there might be.
I think there's added
I
security
think I saw yeah.
and safety
People
for
wanna
like an
say his name.
important person. If there's the element of unpredictability, where if you telegraph where someone's going to be, then you deal with unwanted nonsense.
Christian,
What sporting event would be the biggest surprise if Trump were to show up?
the NBA?
It's
NBA.
still a big
Yeah, it'd
platform.
definitely be the NBA.
That's
I
a
think.
huge plus. Is there something that would be an utter shock if he if he was able to show up?
College baseball.
College World Series?
Yeah. College baseball.
College World
Colin.
Series regular season?
Yeah, college baseball.
That would be a surprise. I was going to say the first four in the NCAA tournament would be a surprise.
He just shows up in Cleveland, Ohio to see
Virginia, Colorado, 11 seeds, Duke,
Des Moines, Iowa.
I don't know. I think that would be a surprising one too. I mean, I'm trying to think. He definitely would go. The presidents go to the World Series. The presidents go to baseball all the time. They go to football all the time.
Yeah.
They go to the college football all the time. I don't remember the last time they've been to a college basketball big game.
Obama probably won. He was a huge hoops.
Yeah, he
I'm
went to
assuming,
a
and this
Duke
is me
UNC
assuming.
games. I remember Obama would
Yeah.
That's
Did
when
he go
Zion
to the?
Definitely.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's when
That was
Zion
Zion
blew up his
Williamson.
shirt. Yeah, his shoe. Yeah, he jumped
Oh,
out of
he
his
went to
shoe
the
in
regular
front of
season.
Obama. Yeah.
Yes.
Blew
that
through
was the
his
regular
shoe. Yep.
season.
Blew through his shoe.
That's right. He was not in office, I don't believe.
No.
He was
retired.
way well past. But yeah, okay, that's
Are you
interesting. 'cause I
sure?
thought you were talking about the.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah, you're right. That was like 2017,
that was-
18, 19.
I was like
You're right.
2017,
Yeah, yeah.
2018, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, so he's went to college basketball. I'd be very surprised. I mean, the TGL, this is a newer league. This is the first year of this league. We've had this for 2 months, and you got the president showing up. That's pretty good publicity. We will take that. But I'm just curious on if there is one that would be a complete surprise.
I got one.
College soccer, wrestling, Iowa, Penn
Wrestling.
State.
Yeah.
College
Yeah.
wrestling would be a big
Oh,
surprise.
no, I was thinking professional wrestling. I was thinking he shows up to a Monday Night Raw randomly to take in some John Cena.
Trump was a character in Monday Night Raws, right?
How soon I forget. Yeah.
You're wrestling. Timeout.
Dude, you're Mr. Wrestler.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
a
that?
bad
Even
look.
I know that.
Brother,
I got it.
Vince McMahon's head at WrestleMania.
That's a bad. The Christian.
That's bad.
Christian,
That's
that's a bad look,
That's
brother. I gotta,
That's a little rough.
love you to death, guy, but go ahead.
I got one.
Hey, Trump was probably there last week. Go ahead.
If President Trump showed up to the professional darts, if he goes overseas in Britain's kitchen, like right in their home, it's like, hello, yeah, you got to give me security.
Yeah.
Sorry. And
How
he
about
shows
that?
up
Christian
in that
might
hall.
be onto some like international like leagues. Like I love my EPL. The EPL going to a Manchester United game with a Red Devils shirt on. Be awesome.
That would be a surprise. Right,
I would say, Christian, you're laughing, but yeah, put him in a Red Devils jersey.
I do
baby.
not
Let's
think
go.
Trump knows what EPL stands for.
He knows English Premier League soccer. Come on, man. He's with it. He knows the sports.
Does he own a team? I don't think he can anymore.
No.
Yeah,
He's,
okay.
yeah, it's.
I was hearing
conflict of
stories
interest.
about him at the Super Bowl. The leader of the World Cup. I don't know his name, Rizzo. You might know his name, but was in his box with President Trump, and Trump was trumping at him, saying, "Yeah, well, they gave us the World Cup because of me." And it was very funny firsthand accounts of that interaction.
Wow. That's got to be. It's probably the C. I'm assuming it's the CEO. Nasser Fahad Al-Qatar. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
Is he bald, Christian? Christian bald?
I wasn't there.
Who was a phony?
You didn't see him?
Is that the guy who was a phony and giving Qatar?
Correct.
The World Cup when he shouldn't have? And it was all because of the money and all because about staying underneath the oil money and not getting tariffed? Was that the same guy?
I think we should leave it there.
That's the same guy, right?
It is.
That is the same guy. Okay.
It is.
Interesting. So that's why you got the World Cup went to Qatar, because it's a brand new when they're building it out as sheet metal, those stadiums. Build it out of sheet metals. Oh my God, that is a little rough. I mean, geez, and they're not getting oil tariffs. There was a big
listen,
documentary about it.
It was good. It was a good World Cup because Messi won that year. So that was
a big story for on that. Could have been anywhere else. I don't know. That was just my takeaway. It wasn't a big needle-moving one. Now it's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you. Christian Cat helping us out back at City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We're closing out the program here on a Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. You get the TGL tonight on ESPN. Stay tuned. Maybe the President of the United States will be present. Maybe not. It remains to be seen. Whole lot to be done. Whole lot to continue to be had. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Miss any of the show, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We could be found there and on the YouTube live stream at ESPN West Palm on Facebook and X as well. Saying so long, ESPN 106.3.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships,